Hi, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Valerie Lynn, and I have had so much fun talking with Carrie Alberts, a.k.a. Dementia Darling, over the past several episodes. If you don't know Carrie, and you do know someone with Alzheimer's or any cognitive impairment, or if you're a caregiver in memory care or a private duty caregiver, you'll want to check out this series. And you should definitely get to know Carrie. She's a certified dementia practitioner. She's worked in senior living for a decade, has a degree in gerontology, and her goal is to take away the stigma that Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia can have. Today, we're talking about all her favorite resources for caregivers. So listen in and share. Welcome to Desperately Seeking Senior Living, a podcast for sons, daughters, grandkids, and spouses who suddenly find themselves tangled in the search for senior living and care. If you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and check out our doable download in today's show notes for a printable summary of the show and a bonus tip from our guest. You're listening to our doable tips, short answers to your questions. Don't see your question listed? Send us a note. Then don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an answer.
Hi.
Happy to be
back.
How are you?
I'm
Long
good.
time no see.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to have you back on the show. And I'm especially excited about today's episode because we're talking about resources. And this is something you and I have talked about before, just how exciting it is that there are more and more resources for caregivers. Caregivers who have been alone for a long time, caregivers who have been Googling and finding nothing, wanting to listen to podcasts and finding nothing. Pre my podcast. And so I'm so excited. So today we're going to talk about these resources, and I want to just make sure everybody knows they don't have to have a pen and paper. All of this is going to be in show notes. So we're going to have links to all of these resources. It's going to be super easy. And these are going to be resources for all caregiving. So whether it's dementia or not.
Yes, I'm going to have some of my favorite dementia peeps in there and then some like overall caregiver information. But you know me, I'm Dementia Darling, so we're heavy on the dementia.
Okay. All right. That's okay.
But I do, there's so many amazing resources actually for all caregivers. And we'll just start there as a general for all caregivers. And some of these are going to be the usual ones in my head. Like in my head, I'm going to be like, okay, we all know that. But they have to be said because they're great because of who they are.
Well, and maybe some of our listeners are just starting this journey and they don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. And I always have to stop myself because I am so in my world that I forget that I'm in a very weird one-off world that not many people know.
Nobody wants to think about our world. Like nobody wants to think about
in our world. I wish they never had to be in our world.
Exactly. Exactly. But since we are in this world, where do you want to get started?
Yes. I like to start ARP. ARP is not just for older people. Didn't know that until recently.
Really?
And it's amazing. Yeah. Like I did not know that. And they have a full-on area for caregivers. And you can go in and there's a US map. And you click on your state and it's everything you need as a caregiver in your state.
Wow.
So,
I mean, I just personally remember not liking receiving that little card that says,
no, everyone goes,
AARP, you can join now because you're older.
I'm a weirdo. It's a badge of honor. My parents have been like giving me their AARP swag for years. Love it.
So I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know they had a caregiver section. That's incredible.
And
wow.
So much advice. Like so much personalized issues and advice columns out the wazoo, like great topics across the entire caregiving journey. How to pay for things, how to find care, literally how to grieve, like how to help with grief, like everything. So highly recommend going to AARP. Checking it out. Do not feel like you need an age requirement to be there because I literally thought. So that's my number one. And then I love Zen Caregiving Project. It's zencaregiving.org. They like teach they have like videos and content about how to be like compassionate and mindful in your care.
I love that.
They even have like worksheets for you. It's incredible. They have a caregiver section, and they have one for like all caregivers, professional, which is big. I rarely find things for professional caregivers. Like on the Alzheimer's Association page, there's one page for professional Alzheimer's caregivers.
That's interesting. I actually have a lot of professionals that are utilizing my podcast to
Good.
train their staff.
Good.
So, yeah, so that's wow. Yeah, I love
And
that.
I get often that memory care staff is using my posts and printing them and putting them in the break rooms.
I love
But
it.
yeah,
I love it. That's just so crazy that the Alzheimer's Association doesn't have more
yeah,
for professional caregivers.
yeah,
But if you don't call it that, then I could see where you would sort of pass
yeah.
it by. Like you wouldn't
No.
think that's for you. So
Oh,
I love that.
100%. So I love because I'm always kind of because there is a lot for family caregivers if you look. Like I'm not saying it's just out there like hanging by the trees waiting for you. Like it's hard. You have to find it. But very rarely, as I said, can I find professional help and support and with the burnout of it. I'm actually going to be talking about professional burnout in this field and mental health because we have to talk about it. And it's really hard. And it's why a lot of people leave the biz
Yeah.
really soon.
So along with that, would someone actually like would these resources come up if you typed in family caregiver or
Yeah,
professional caregiver?
that's pretty
I
much
love
what I
that
did.
because
Yeah.
I think families don't even know what to Google.
No, no, I should actually do a post like that, like what to Google.
I'm going to do an episode like that.
I love that. I love that. Because I always say when people don't know, they're like, I don't know Instagram. I don't know TikTok. Just go to a hashtag and put dementia. Hashtag caregiver. Hashtag family caregiver. Hashtag sandwich caregiver.
If you haven't heard this term, we're actually talking about someone who has kids at home and they're
Yes.
caregiving for an
Okay.
aging
Yes.
parent.
Yes. And
We just
sometimes
want to make sure.
we got triple decker sandwiches, and they're taking
Whoa.
care of a grandma, a parent, or grandparent, a parent, and children. That is a thing.
Oh, or I wonder if it could go the other way where they're taking care of their grandchildren.
That too, touche. Ooh,
Mhm.
that's crazy. I'm just so much on people's
We
plates.
not
I
only
can't.
added a fourth, or we added another direction for
We
the
did.
three.
We did. These people are amazing. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just you have to search. Unfortunately, we're not to the point in our community where it's easily found. Even doctors. My mom's doctor recently said, "Can I have some of your daughter's information? Because I don't know."
Wow. Wow.
Sir,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but
I get that though,
I
because
get it
they know their things. They know
exactly.
their things. Yeah.
And if you're not like a geropsychologist or a geriatrician, or if you literally went and out of your way to learn about dementia, very seldom,
Yeah.
very. So yeah, like I'm on their website right now. We teach mindfulness-based approaches to clinical, professional, and informal caregivers. So that's for all caregivers, that section. And then there's one to help build resilience and reduce stress and anxiety for family caregivers. There's
I
courses.
love that. And this is again, we're back to Zen.
Zen, sorry, yeah, Zen
Yeah.
Caregiving Project.
Yeah, I
So
love
check
that.
them out. That's one of my favorites I've recently gotten onto. And then there's a few others if you put in caregiver, like caregiver groups, caregiver alliance. So there's Caregiver Action Alliance and there's Caregiver Action Network. Caregiver Alliance, sorry, and Caregiver Action Network. There's two different ones.
We'll get it right for show notes.
Yes, we will. And don't trust me. Yes. But they're fabulous. And they have a plethora of things for you to read about all things caregiving, not just dementia. They have dementia sections, but they have other sections and how to find help, how to find resources. A lot of them, I think it's Caregiver Action Network even has where you can go to your state and find specifics. There's a financial button on there, and it gives you all the different grants and things that you can sign up for financially, because those are really hard to find. So those are like my faves. And AARP. And now we're going into like dementia world. And before I go to social media, the main dementia sites that I trust, first we have for Alzheimer's specifically, Alz Association, so alz.org. And I've gotten crap for this from followers, but I really like Alzheimer's Society. They are in Canada and in the UK. For sure in the UK. So Alzheimer's Society, the words might be a little different because it's from the UK, but it's wonderful. I just really like how they word it. And I like that the website is more fun for me to go through. It's easier for me. I mean, Alzheimer's Association is definitely more focused on research, but they give you great tips and information as well. But when you're looking for specific tips and tricks, social media. I mean, it is a gold mine. If you, again, look up the hashtag dementia, look up the hashtag FTD, whatever type of dementia your loved one is living with, look it up and find your people because they're there. There's so many of them.
Yes.
For example, so one of my favorite people, she's the first person I followed online three and a half years ago. Love her to death. And she's huge on YouTube and huge on Instagram. And I think TikTok too. She's huge on all of them. Okay. Dr. Natalie. She is the Dementia Care Blazer. So she's Dementia Care Blazers is her company. And she has a full on like course and program. You can be a care blazer and learn from her. But she is a gero physician.
Nice.
She is brilliant. So she left her hospital job because she realized no one was helping the family caregivers.
Yeah.
And so she created this and she is, oh my gosh, her videos will teach you so much and it's very digestible. But if you have the resources, join her community. It's gold.
And so by that, you mean there's a fee?
Like you can learn her stuff on her social media for free. But if you want more support, you literally meet with her weekly. It's not very much. And you get group support groups and classes and you get hands-on experience with her. So that if you have the resources and you really need help, she's a great one.
I love that. And one of the things that that sort of made me think of is that she is a gero doctor, right?
Yes,
you said that.
Specifically, yes.
And so this is so important because that's someone who focuses on working with seniors. And I think that sort of links back to what you were saying about the doctor wanting your resources. It's very likely that your mom or dad's doctor is a family doctor and maybe doesn't have this specialty.
Yes.
And so I think it's super important to keep that in mind that share these resources with your loved one's doctors. Like just share them,
Yes, you're not being annoying. Like
right.
We have, and who cares? Like it's your loved one's health.
Yeah.
And they need to learn. And I follow, I need to find her. There's a geriatrician. Oh, she's incredible. I'm sorry. I'm going on Instagram right now because I can't forget this.
I love it.
She is absolutely amazing. This woman, she's in the UK and she's a geriatrician.
Okay.
And she posts such descriptive posts about just the things that people deal with when they're aging, falls, and how to, what a geriatrician should be saying. And it blows my mind how her view of things is so different than the regular physicians we meet because she's actually seeing it in the lens of an aging person.
Yes.
But I think I saw the stat. I forgot. It's literally below. Don't quote me. It's below. I thought it was 300, but maybe it's below 500 of some sort of geriatricians in our country.
What?
It's very low. We have to look it up. It's so low.
That up.
Because we looked at. I saw it at a conference recently that I was at, and it made me stop in my tracks because I'm like, we're screwed.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, just while we're on this subject, nobody wants to leave their doctor. It's someone you're comfortable with. If you like them, you don't want to leave them. When you move, you have to find a new doctor. It's a pain in the butt. Like nobody wants to do it. But if they're not well-versed in what your loved one is going through, then it might not be a good fit anymore.
And I know it's hard, but it's literally like if I was going in for my eyes, but I went to my regular doctor. Like they don't specialize in that.
Exactly.
We need, and even a neurologist doesn't specialize in dementia.
Yeah.
Isn't necessarily.
That wild?
Not necessarily. It's wild.
Not necessarily.
It's terrible.
Yeah. So I think just going back to sharing the Resources. Yes.
Yes, share because we could go on forever.
Yeah.
But this is a geriatrician I was talking about. She's Dr. Elena Mucci. It's just Dr. Elena Mucci. And I'm going to send it to you right now so it doesn't get lost.
Okay. And then listeners, I will put it in show notes so you will have it.
This is one of my favorites. She has taught me so much. So highly recommend her. Okay. So she's like all elders. She sometimes touches on dementia though. Okay, so going into more dementia, Adria from Be Like Care. So Be
Oh,
Like Care.
yes,
We
yes.
all know Adria. She's, I think, the biggest in our community follower wise. Not that we're counting, not that we're counting. I just like to give her flowers. She works very hard. I had the pleasure of meeting Adria this past year. And Adria, yes, again, Be Like Care. And she has that name because she wants to be the light in the dementia care world and bring light to this dark time. So I love
I
that
love
about
it.
her. But she's a speech pathologist by trade. So she gives you amazing dementia specific care tips, and also from the lens of a speech pathologist. But her videos have gone viral because they're so easy to digest. They're so well done. She's brilliant. So go there. You can learn literally everything from Adria. You will not be sorry. I mean, she has like a full on business too. So you can reach out to her. Like yeah. So there's a ton. I could literally talk for 10 years about, but all my favorite dementia specific people, like I hate picking and choosing because it's so hard for me, but I just want to plug in there. Most of the people I learn the most from are family caregivers.
So I love having them on my show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these two are professionals in the field. Love it. Learn so much for them. But I learn a lot from Miss Patty Cake, who took care of her mother and is now taking us through her grief journey. I learned so much from Life with Grams. She's taking care of her grandmother and they're best friends and they're the most fun people on earth. And she teaches me so much. And she has 500,000 on TikTok, Life with Grams followers. And Chris is always educating and always advocating. And she is my hero. I could go on forever. My mom has dementia. Her mom is living with FTD and she is from the Latina community, amazing caregiver and content. If you're looking for a male caregiver, he's taking care of his father. It's Charlie. Charlie does it. And Charlie is the father and Carlos is the son. And oh gosh, I said I am Gertrude Jordan in my last one with Ty, who's taking care of her mom. I learned so much from them. And then I know I could go on forever, but one last one is Jessica Guthrie, who is Career Caregiving Collide. And she is a single young female who's taking care of her mom solely, who's on hospice now with Alzheimer's for the last 8 years.
So it's so wild.
Oh my gosh. She teaches so much. You follow her stories and you will learn so much about how to advocate, what to expect, and what to not tolerate, how to prepare. I mean, they're incredible. But I have to shout out all of those people I just said are with me on the HFC, Hilarity for Charity Care Squad. So we are part of a group that we're always helping to develop programs and content for HFC to help family caregivers more. So all of us work together. We're a great community. I love all of them, and them sharing their story means more to me than I can ever express because they're paving the way for this to be normalized.
Yeah, and the other thing that I really love about that is that it helps other families not feel so alone to
100%.
hear from another family.
Yes, and you need to see someone that looks like you, that's doing the same stuff you are, so you can say, "Oh my God, I'm not the only one in my room crying tonight." Because you feel so isolated. And so Chris from Life with Graham, she does a live every night where she does a little scrapbooking and decompresses after Graham goes to bed. And you can join that live and talk to her and hang out. You have to be able to see how people do self-care. You have to see how people are doing their lives so you can do it. Yeah. And also to hear this sucks, and to hear the reality, right? Yes. So,
which we have never said before.
Never. This is the best. Yeah. So follow other caregivers.
I love it. I love it. Do you have any other resources?
Yes. Girl, I can go on forever, Valerie. Don't even. So I have to share one of my favorite ladies. Her name is Leslie Fuller, and she owns Inspired Senior Care. She's also in Vegas. She's a Vegas girl like me. Love her. So she created this program where it's based with Teepa Snow Pack and, person-centered. And it's just this amazing program.
Which Teepa Snow is another resource.
Oh my gosh. If you're not following Teepa Snow, what are you doing? Especially on YouTube.
Oh, her videos
YouTube
are great.
Is gold.
Training. Yeah.
If you need dementia help and you remember two things from this, Dementia Care Blazers and Teepa Snow on YouTube, done. You're gold.
Yeah.
You just got a college degree in dementia. But Inspired Care Leslie has put together this incredible training that you can buy for your senior living staff. And it's how to be the best dementia caregiver. And I think all types of care, I want to say, just like being a good caregiver in general. She has these cards, like your team can, she just makes it very digestible. Like your team can grab one of the cards from the deck every week and it like teaches them how to reframe things in their mind and be more cognizant of their care. It's brilliant. She's lovely. She's a great resource. Follow her on Instagram as well. And then I'm going to say another one for FTD caregivers. It's very hard for different types of dementia besides Alzheimer's to find community sometimes.
Yeah, because there are a lot of different types. Yeah.
There's a ton of different types of dementia, but we only hear Alzheimer's and dementia. Well, those are not the same.
Right.
Alzheimer's is the most common reason for dementia,
which is why we hear it more often.
Yes. But it's not the correct way of saying it either. So FTD is frontal temporal dementia, and that's what Bruce Willis has. That's where you're going to see a change in personality more so than memory.
Yeah.
The Remember Me podcast is two amazing women, that cared for their parents with FTD, and they're sharing stories and support. They're incredible. So I would listen to that if you need support as well in that journey. And then I just want to say one more, I really enjoy, it's another dementia, but specifically it's called Let's Bamboo. Fabulous on Instagram and YouTube. They have an amazing website as well with courses and actually things you can buy. They've created puzzles and books. But Brianna, who is this amazing young woman, she's created Let's Bamboo, and she is so talented. She's a wealth of knowledge.
I haven't heard of this one. So this one is more products that can help.
No,
everything.
It's everything. She just she's created products, but her courses and her just information in general, her social media page is so informative. She should be way bigger than she is. Yeah.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Dementia Darling.
You better know.
Because that's you.
Please follow. No, I'm Dementia Darling. I'm coolest on Instagram.
She is pretty cool. You are very cool. You are very cool on Instagram.
And then TikTok, Facebook, and now YouTube. I'm on Pinterest. I'm on Amazon storefront now. I'm putting things in there.
You are rocking it.
I'm trying.
You are rocking it. And of course, we have our Instagram handle is DesperateToDoable, because that is the goal. That is why you're on the show. Carrie, you're doing this series for us. It's why we interview families. It's because we are trying to take what really can honestly feel desperate and try to make it even just a little bit more doable for you.
Yes.
So our handle is DesperateToDoable. Of course, the podcast, Desperately Seeking Senior Living, which really encompasses more than just when you're looking for a memory care or an assisted living. It's really all those resources that are out there. And then again, not feeling so alone. And then I also have a company called Clear Path Senior Living Solutions. And Clear Path, we can actually accompany you on the journey. So you might listen to the podcast, you might check out all these resources today, and you might still feel that you want some help. And so that's what we do. We help families go through that process. So all kinds of resources. I just feel like I want to say, like, sometimes finding us or jumping on Instagram, Googling, not knowing what in the world to Google, sometimes that can take you down a rabbit hole that doesn't get you to some of these resources. So I kind of just want to say, start early. I think that's, it can be so just even more stressful if you're in the middle of the thing and now you're trying to find those resources. So even if you just start early with some of these to kind of bookmark and just, many times there are like clues there, you get that little feeling that, something's going to be coming down the road. And whether it's Alzheimer's or FTD or Parkinson's or just age-related issues. Yeah. Start early.
And I have to just piggyback on that, because it's something I like to also say is it's too overwhelming to do that anyway to yourself. And when you dive right in, don't read the whole book.
Yeah.
You read one chapter at a time, you take one post at a time, and we learn slowly. And so starting earlier is best because we can digest it a little bit more. Because
Yep.
if we're just diving in once we're in the deep end of the pool, it's going to be rough. So, yeah, take it in, learn as you go. It might not pertain to you at this moment, but if you know that little nugget one day, it might help.
Yep. Absolutely. And again, you guys are not alone. You're not alone.
Never. Yeah, sending a big hug to you. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, Carrie, thank you so much.
Thank
And,
you.
Carrie, I hope we see you again in the future. I have a
I
feeling that
think
we
you will.
will.
I think you will. You're not getting rid of me.
This has been a lot of fun.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Carrie. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
you.
Today's episode is brought to you by Carrie Alberts, a.k.a. Dementia Darling, where the mission is that no caregiver feels alone. Carrie's passion for caregivers, education, and background in senior living have helped her create a safe space for caregivers, no matter where you are on your journey. Dementia Darling has you covered with valuable tips and resources. Find more information in today's show notes. Check out this episode's doable download in show notes for details, including industry terms and definitions we discussed, as well as a bonus tip from our guest. Have questions or your own tips to share? Leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, make it doable.
I am so in my world of dementia. I didn't even realize that. But yes, of course, this pertains to a lot more. But I'm just like dementia.
I love your world of dementia.
Well, it's kind of intense. My parents probably are like, "Can you get out of there?" Because every time I'm with them, I'm like, "So if you get dementia, let's talk." And like they're probably really over it. I talk too much about dementia. My sister.
I don't think you
literally
can talk too much.
She does. She's literally like, "Can we have one holiday dinner? One holiday dinner without talking about dementia?" And I was like, "No, it's my life."
Maybe if your favorite food is there, right?
Maybe.
Then you're like,
I'll give
okay,
it up.
while I'm eating.
Okay.